Yo, what's good, people? Happy Saturday to y'all. Welcome back to the Homies Tribune. It's me, Mike Gam, as your host, talking to the homies as usual. If it's your first time tuning in, if you have tuned in, then you already know, man, the show wouldn't be right without the infamous red cup. Okay. Mhm. That's hitting right on a Saturday morning. Listen, don't worry about what's in my cup. It's my cup, people. Okay? Okay, so I want to play something for y'all. I want to play this for y'all. Go on and listen to this, y'all. I want to get y'all thoughts. So your daughter came out and told you she was gay. It was nothing. I mean, she still can't bring her situation to our house. My daughter is grown. But why? She's grown. Because I don't want it to contaminate her other. It's a generation we raising. I don't want her to get contaminated to her other 6, 7 sisters who look up to her. I want them to bring me grandchildren the right way. If I want grandchildren the right way, that's what I'm going to stand on. You know, if I don't want my other little girl to look at that and say, "What's that, Daddy?" Contaminated to somebody she looks up to, it's not going to come around. My grandpa didn't let it. My daddy didn't let it. And I didn't let it. I just hope the one under me, when they take this strong, they don't let it. Because that's not what our family believe in. Like you say, we Southern Baptists. Jeez. Listen, a lot to touch on, okay? So if you didn't hear it, I hope it was clear enough for you. But Boosie is doing an interview with Young Miami, and she asked him about his daughter being gay. And he basically was saying when she come around, he ain't allowing none of that gay stuff in his home. This is what he's saying. He doesn't, and she was like, well, like she's grown. She should be able to do whatever she want to do. And Boosie is like, yeah, she is grown, but I don't want her to contaminate the other children. And that's what everybody's in the uproar about. Listen, contaminated is wild. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Contaminated is wild. It's so many other things, other words Boosie could have used. I don't want her to influence the other children. Um, it's contaminated is wild, right? But his daughter, Lil Ivy, she did respond, and her clip is super long, so I didn't want to play that, but everything she was saying, I felt her, and if you see it, it's really heartbreaking because she's still she a young lady, you know what I'm saying? She young. You could just see the hurt in her eyes, but she was basically, I'm paraphrasing it. She was just basically saying every chance you get to go on one of these platforms to talk about your daughter being gay, you take the chance to bash her every time. You will have this conversation with everybody else except her. And I could just see the hurt in her eyes as she's saying this, like, man, there's so many people that wanted me to go against my dad, but I never did. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good father. But a lot of shit he say, he's a hypocrite. How you go perform and say two girls kissing in the back seat. Two girls kissing in the back seat. Like, and she's saying you've been performing this song since you was 3, which she is right. You know what I'm saying? I love how she was still super respectful as she was doing it, and you could tell she was hurt, and angry all at the same time. Boosie saying contaminated is wild. He could have said influence, but without say, you know what I'm saying? He could have said influence. I get where he's coming from. I'm talking about the influence part. I'm not agreeing with the contaminated part. But I feel as a parent, your kids gonna do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Same way you do what you want to do. We all humans. I think that's the time to parent. You know what I'm saying? Because it's while you keeping your daughter away, to saying you don't want her to contaminate the other kids. At the end of the day, they got cell phones. They go outside. It's a new time. It's a new world. Girls kissing girls, guys kissing guys. It ain't nothing new. It's been going on. It's just a little more open now. But I think that's the time to parent. I don't think that's, oh no, I got to keep her away. Because eventually the other kids get older and they go, same way they go see this interview and be like, contaminated? Why you say my sister contaminated? You know what I'm saying? Which is wild. Contaminated is like Ivory said, like somebody got cooties, like you're going to get affected or something. You know what I'm saying? I think we all make choices in life. That's what all this is about. It's about choices. But I just think Boosie was super wrong for using the word contaminated. It's a million words you could have used. But my main thing is, Ivory, keep your head up. I think the way you responded was super respectful. Um, it ain't just Boosie. I think it's a lot of Black parents in general where they never really look at their kid as an adult, and you know what I'm saying? Like they won't have them adult conversations with their adult kid. It's almost like the Matilda, the Trenchable attitude. I don't know. Have you ever seen Matilda? The ones who have seen Matilda know what I'm talking about. But Trenchable, who's the principal, she uses she always said I'm right, you're wrong. I'm big, you're small, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how a lot of Black parents parent. Like, there's no wrong they could do. It's nothing you could tell them. I'm older than you. I lived longer than you. And I just think that's wrong. It's slowly but surely changing. You know what I'm saying? It's slowly but surely changing, but for a lot of it's a certain generation, that Boosie generation and up, think like that. Whereas it ain't nothing you could tell me. I'm not gonna have no real conversation with my kids. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's totally wrong. I just think it's super, super, super wrong. Where it's like Ivory said, you will have this conversation about me to everybody else, but would never sit down with me and have this conversation. Ask me, how did I get here? You know, how do I feel? And if you see, go look at Ivory interview and her response to what Boosie said about being contaminated. She didn't disrespect him. It's the hurt, it's the hurt in her eyes that you see. You could just tell how mad she was. And I do believe man, that that hurt that she had in her eyes, if they was having this conversation and they was seemed like they would have came to blows. And she's super respectful to her dad. She didn't disrespect him. She was just speaking her mind. And you could tell that she was hurt that she even had to come to the internet to even address it. And it's like you didn't, like she said, you didn't did about 4 or 5 interviews on her being gay. But not once have you came to her and talked about her. It's a wild situation, but using the word contaminated is just like, contaminated is something affected. You know what I mean? Let me see one thing real quick, y'all. Hold on. One thing. One thing. I want to see one thing on here. Forgive me, y'all. Hold on. That's wild. It's ever. Oh man. Okay. I'm looking up the quick meaning of contaminated. Having having been made impaired by exposure to or addition of a poisonous or polluting substance. This what you think of your little girl? A polluting substance? Like at the end of the day, that's still your that's still your baby girl. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who she loving on or how she feel about another woman and none. You can see in her eyes like, damn, daddy, like I'm your first. I'm your baby girl. That's how you doing me? Me, Ivory? And I stick by your side even when everybody else went against you. And you could just see like she act just like him. Like I never go against the grain, dad. And this how you doing me? It's a cold game. I would like to get y'all thoughts on this. Was Boosie wrong for using the word contaminated? Do you feel that a lot of black parents don't really have these real conversations with their parents? I mean, with their kids, they talk to they home girl, they homeboy, they sister, their brother, but they had never had them real conversations with their adult kids. I I personally think if this is where parenting come in at. Like, this is where the parenting come in at for Ivory and for the younger siblings. If they, you know, Dad, why Ivory gotta I thought you said girls don't date girls, but what about Ivory? This is where the parenting come in at, man. That's just my opinion. Y'all get in them comments and let me know what y'all think. Is it wild for Boosie using the word contaminated, describing his uh his daughter's preference? Y'all get in them comments and let me know what y'all think, man. The Homies Tribune. Me, Mike Gam. I'm signing off. Like, comment, subscribe. The ones who have been commenting, the ones who have been watching, I appreciate all my little followers. Thank you. If it's something y'all want me to touch on, get in them comments and let me know and I'll touch on it. I'm out. Peace.